What's going on, everyone? It's Rod with POW Group. It's Friday, August 21st, and it's a little dark here today, but I hope everyone had a great week. I know I did. We're finally getting some rain here today. And before we jump into the video, just make sure you smash the like. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about SPY's new all-time high. We're going to talk about Tesla's new all-time high and Apple's crazy run and new all-time high. So moving on to SPY. SPY, we hit a new all-time high today. To begin the day, we actually double top, and I did a video for private members this morning, and I also highlighted the fact that we were seeing a double top to begin the day with the high of yesterday. So you can see here, we hit the high of yesterday at the 338.78, and we pulled back. We were just looking for a 5-minute higher low on that pullback, and bulls were in full control after that. We saw a little bit of a break of that support level, but it was basically just a fake out, and then bulls ran with it for the rest of the day. And what I think's happening here on SPY is, you can see here, we haven't consolidated on the weekly. We're still holding this uptrend as well if we use the real body candle bodies. And you can see here that we closed the week very, very bullish with a hammer. So that would signal that we're probably going up into next week. But you can see here, we haven't consolidated on the weekly in any significant way since the 296 level. So I would certainly be cautious up here, and just keep in mind that what the market is doing right now is it's conditioning everyone to buying the dips. So we're starting to see a lot of euphoria, in my opinion. So I want to bring up the investor psychology cycle because it's something that I refer back to, and I think it's important right now. But I personally think that we are seeing heavy amounts of euphoria, because if you look at Tesla's just defying gravity. It hit almost $2,100 today. Apple's at $500 a share. I mean, it's crazy. It's run 160% since March and the COVID lows, and the company's now worth over $2 trillion. That's just absolutely mind-boggling. So I think right now we're at the maximum point of risk. And if you're not sure what you're doing, or you're looking to get involved in the stock market and you're looking at just buying any of these big tech companies, I personally would highly encourage that you rethink that, because it's almost always ends up bad for the people that are just getting in, right? So for every buyer, there's a seller. And right now, I think that we're at peak of maximum risk, and you could see tons of downside if we see any weekly consolidation. In my opinion, a lot of these sectors are not going to consolidate unless we see big tech consolidate, and especially SPY, since it's so heavy weighted into the tech sector. So that's just something I wanted to touch on real quick, is that they're conditioning all the retail investors, or every investor for that matter, to just buy all dips. And there will come a time where that game plan or that strategy will not work, and people are going to get burned. I can already see it coming. I've seen it 100 times before, and they'll continue to milk this as long as they can. But just know that when the big guys and the whales start getting out, that's when you're going to want to take the most precaution. Make sure you're using a stop loss, for God's sakes. And yeah, just stay careful out there, guys. I did take a position in 3D systems today, so DDD. As you can see, we are pulling back. We're almost weekly oversold. I entered on daily oversold conditions. So we were quite oversold at one point. We got down to about 23 when we opened the day, and we had the low of the day was 522. And you can see here we closed at 545. The high of the previous candle was 545. So we didn't break the high of yesterday. So it looks like the daily bounce is underway. You can see here there's no real resistance up until 706, which was pre-earnings and the restructuring that they announced. And you can see here we don't have any resistance on the EMAs until the 584 level. So my entry was based on oversold on the daily. I also looked back to the weekly chart, and you can see here the low of the March dump was 520. So I entered off 520 support. So I had daily oversold, getting extreme on the RSI, which is the relative strength index for whether or not an asset is overbought or oversold. So that was entry number one. Entry signal number one. Entry signal number two was I had support here off the 520 level. And if we just go back to previous price history, you can see here we had a lot of resistance for quite some time in the $5 level. So usually when a level like that becomes important and it's acting as resistance, then we look for that level in the future on any back tests or any corrections to become support. So I'm playing off $5 psychological support as well. So I had a lot of encouragement from these signals to enter confidently. And I entered this morning, I think I filled at 523, and it's just a smaller position, not a huge position, but a position that I plan to hold for quite some time. And as you can see, we hit a low of 522 and we closed at 545. So if filled at 523, so I'm up about, and you can see here, that's about a 5% move. So I'm up 5% on that position. I had to stop under $5, and I like the risk to reward. So basically risking 20 cents, 23 cents to potentially make upwards of 40 to $1, right? So those are some risk to reward odds that I will take any time of the day. I also made an entry on MU. So MU, I'll take a look at the weekly chart. So the weekly 200-day moving average is 41.08. I was also looking at MU on the daily, and you can see here we had a low of 42.51. So I knew we had weekly support at the 200-day moving average. I knew we had previous support here on the daily and the weekly, which was 42.51. I saw that we hit a low today of 42.25 and we started to bounce. So clearly it might have triggered some stops, maybe stopped some people out, and then it continued with the bounce and found some support. So I entered off of that support. I think I got filled around 42.50s or the 42.40s, 42.50s. And I'm planning to hold that for the long term as well. And I set my stop under this previous weekly higher low here at the low of 41.19. So I set my stop under $40. I'm essentially risking $2 to make 8+. So those were the two entries I made today for swing positions. And Apple, all-time highs, absolutely crazy volume as well. This is just getting ridiculous. Taking a look at the monthly chart. Monthly chart hasn't consolidated from the 212. So from the March lows, we are up 134% on Apple. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I did want to check in to see how gold was doing today. So gold, yeah, found rejected that EMA 12 resistance again and had a nice bounce to end the day, and super important close. So we closed very strong. So chances of us opening bullish on gold and continuing a retracement to the upside is definitely high in my opinion. We were able to bounce back. Bulls defended from that pullback nicely, and it looks like full steam ahead. So there was an Edinburgh research report, short report done on Grow Generation today. So Grow Generation was in blue sky breakout. You can see here we got a nasty reversal candle on the weekly, and the timing of the short report was 100% intentional in my opinion. So they came out saying that the management had all sorts of red flags and that they saw 70% worth of downside. Now, they didn't say they saw this a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Of course, they waited and shorted the absolute top. and we hit 22 and we're already down 20%. So must be nice to just be able to release a report at as soon as because they took a position and they released the report at blue sky breakout and right as the week is ending, and you can bet that a lot of people got hurt by this pullback. So another reason why we don't just enter blindly. We always need to have a stop loss. As soon as we broke the low of yesterday, I would have been out right away. It would have been run for the hills. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Make sure you smash the like, consider subscribing, and tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future content. Have yourselves a great weekend. You may see me again this weekend. If not, we'll check back on Monday for another daily market recap. Take care, guys.